Hey music friends, this is Davi Vasc. I'm a music composer for games, and the most requested themes ever in this channel are without a doubt the themes for Ibushi, Narwa and Allmother Narwa from Monster Hunter Rise. So today we're starting a series on the themes of the God Serpents, and to start off we're going to listen to and talk about the theme for the Wind Serpent Ibushi today. Let's go! So beautiful. Okay, right off the bat there's a lot going on in this intro. First of all, a cute little detail here. We start off with a flute, right? A high-pitched flute. And the flute is of course a wind instrument, and Ibushi is the wind serpent, makes sense. But the thing that caught my attention the most when I first heard this intro is that right from the start you can tell this is something different. It's not gonna be a normal fight like a Rathalos or a Nargacuga or whatever. You can tell this is different. It's loaded with a lot of emotion, with a lot of drama. This part here is so emotional. There's this low-pitched melody in the background going pana 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 pana. Can you hear it? Check out the chords behind this melody here. Now, this chord here in particular, it's very, very interesting. This is what we call in music a double function chord, and I'm not gonna bore you with the details of that, but it basically means that the function, the emotion that you're supposed to feel when you hear this chord in this context here is not entirely clear. It can either be a tense chord or a happy chord. And in music, when the emotions are not clear, when they are ambiguous and there's a variety of interpretations that you can give to a certain chord, this kind of music tends to go more towards the deep and emotional side of things. So them using this kind of double function chord here goes to show that they're setting this up to be something special, something deeper and more dramatic. Oh, and then the vocals come in. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is actually the same singer, but this sounds a lot like the same singer from the Kamura village theme, the Kamura Song of Purification. And that singer from Kamura Song of Purification is supposed to be Hinoa, so it would make a lot of sense if this was the same singer, because, you know, in the story, Ibushi kind of possesses Hinoa and speaks through her. So it would make a lot of sense if this was actually the same singer and this is actually Ibushi singing through Hinoa here. And one other thing about this part, listen to this. Do you guys recognize this? To me, this sounds like Narwa's theme. And it would make a lot of sense here. You can hear that Ibushi here through Hinoa sings a little verse, and the reply comes as Narwa's theme, which is, you know, his lover. Is the whole reason he's here and we're fighting him. He wants to be reunited with Narwa. This is all he's longing for, is the reason for his anger. Okay, so this is the same melody as before. Remember at the beginning, but the interesting thing about this part here is that it's the same melody. The melody is still there, but they changed the chords underneath the melody. Remember at the intro, this melody was super emotional with that dual function chord. It was nuanced and deep, but listen to how it is now. So you can see that it keeps hammering a single note, like, and this to me feels like the duality of the emotional state that Ibushi himself is in. You know, he's sad and melancholic, and this is a tragic story because he's separated from his lover, like they showed at the beginning with the emotional chords. But he's also angry, and he's kind of insane with longing. So this single note being repeated with the same melody from before kind of shows to me a single-minded longing, a single-minded, almost insane desire. This next part gets me every time. So sad. And you can see that they're exploring this theme of duality and ambiguity a lot in this theme. Check this out. The interesting thing here is that he's using two different versions of the same chord to communicate two different emotions, again on that theme of duality. So it goes like na, na, na. And this is a tense chord, and there's two different ways you can play this tense chord. This way that he's playing here, it's more driven towards emotions of tension and anger. Na, na, na. So this tense chord is the same from before, but it's a slightly different version, and this version is driven more towards emotions of sadness and melancholy. That kind of sums up what Ibushi must have been feeling. It's a mix of sadness and anger. Man, these strings, so powerful. And another pattern that I'm noticing here is that these singing parts are almost always followed by a pause for an instrumental part. It's almost like they're leaving empty spaces for a duet to happen with another singer, but of course there's no duet because Narwa, which would be the other part, is missing. This is the whole point. This is the whole reason why he's so angry. So there's a singing part supposedly being sung by Ibushi through Hinoa. And then a pause, see? Okay, it's getting more intense now. Listen to how paced it is. Percussion is pounding. Up until now, it has been very dramatic and emotional. Seems like things are getting more serious now. It's gearing more towards the side of anger and tension. Oh, and here is Ibushi's signature flute on the left speaker. Can you hear it? Oh man. And now the whole orchestra comes in. It's so dramatic. Listen to how the strings and the brass sweep in to support the suffering and longing voice of Ibushi. Powerful. And here there's a build-up. Kind of a fake build-up. It builds up to silence, to nothing. And you can hear the percussion getting more aggressive here. And then this. Now there's something very unusual about these chords here. Can you hear how lifeless these chords sound? The reason for that is that the composer is intentionally omitting a note called the third, and the third in the chords is usually the note responsible for letting us know if the chord is supposed to make us feel negative or positive emotion. It's the note that gives emotion to the chords. So these chords are without a third, so they sound emotionless. And that, coupled with the fact that the percussion is going crazy here and pounding really hard, feels to me like at the end of this theme there's not much left of Ibushi. It's just a numb and emotionless sort of madness. I'm super looking forward to tackling Narwa and Allmother Narwa themes next. Until then, you might want to check out the reaction that I did to Basil Geese's theme over here. And over here there's a playlist with all the reaction videos that I've done to Monster Hunter music so far. There might be a video there that you haven't watched yet, so check them out and I'll see you there.